Why use artificial intelligence in the office? What are the benefits of ChatGPT? Pacta offers AI training for business leaders. Visit the website pacta.com. Here is a podcast that explains these benefits.
Okay, so you're drowning in information, right? Emails, reports, that massive project folder that seems to multiply overnight. We've all been there. And you're kind of curious how AI tools, specifically something like ChatGPT, could maybe help with that.
Yeah, it's not even just about like having access to more information these days. It's about making sense of what you already have.
Exactly. That's exactly what we're diving into with this deep dive. This webinar is all about using ChatGPT spaces to, manage all that data. And not just organize it, but like actually understand it faster.
Think of it like having a hyper-organized assistant who's already read everything you need and can just pull out the exact answer in seconds.
So instead of me spending an hour trying to remember, wait, was that crucial bit of info in an email? Was it in PDF? Was it maybe on a napkin I scribbled on 3 weeks ago?
Exactly. And the webinar host, he runs his own business and he actually uses this great analogy. He says, without a system for this, it's like your brain is stuck in Control-C, Control-V mode all day long.
Shuffling information around instead of actually, thinking about it.
Exactly. And ChatGPT spaces, they're designed to break you out of that loop.
Okay, so how do they actually work? I'm picturing, virtual filing cabinets. But AI-powered, I guess.
It's more dynamic than that. The webinar, it actually walks through setting one up, and it's surprisingly, visual. You start with a cue, something like a photo that's related to the topic. They use an electric bike for this example, actually.
So if I was tackling, let's just say, a website redesign project, maybe I'd upload a screenshot of the current homepage as my visual cue.
Exactly. It's like you're giving ChatGPT this visual anchor for all the information you're about to give it. Then you actually give it really clear instructions about what kinds of questions it should be able to answer based on the documents you upload.
So let's say I'm writing a proposal, and I keep getting stuck on the battery specs for this fictional electric bike company.
Yeah. Right. Instead of hunting through old emails or product manuals, you just ask your ChatGPT space, okay, what are the key features of the, we'll say the Volt Bike Alpha battery? And boom, it's right there. The answer's right there, pulled directly from those documents you uploaded.
Okay, that's actually really impressive. So it's like having a custom search engine that actually understands the context of my work.
And a really crucial point the webinar stresses here is security. Because you're uploading your own information, it's really important to control what ChatGPT actually has access to.
And you do that by limiting the information in each space, right? That was definitely that was high on my list of concerns. I was wondering about the whole privacy aspect of this.
And they address it head on. The host was very clear. The information you put into a space, it stays in that space. It's not being used to train the general ChatGPT model.
Oh, okay.
Which is a huge relief for a lot of people, I think.
It's like a walled garden, basically, for your information.
Yeah, exactly. You're in complete control.
Why use artificial intelligence in the office? What are the benefits of ChatGPT? Pacta offers AI training for business leaders. Visit the website pacta.com. Here is a podcast that explains these benefits.
Of what goes in, who has access.
Okay.
Now, speaking of access, let's maybe talk about how this actually plays out in a work setting.
Yeah.
The webinar uses this fictional e-bike company, Volt Bike, as a real-world example.
Okay, I'm all ears. Because I can already see how this could be useful. But yeah, concrete examples always help.
So imagine, right, you're on the sales team and you need a quick rundown of the Volt Bike Alpha's key features. Maybe for a client presentation or something.
Right.
Or maybe you're in customer support, right? And somebody's asking about, battery range and different weather conditions.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going with this. Instead of putting the customer on hold and digging through manuals.
Exactly. You just ask your ChatGPT space, hey, what's the Volt Bike Alpha's range in cold temperatures? And boom, it pulls the answer straight from the product specs you've got uploaded.
Okay. That is incredibly efficient. No more frantic searches or hoping that somebody else remembers where that one file is saved on the shared drive.
Right. And it's not just about speed either. It's also about accuracy, right? Because the webinar host really emphasizes how this reduces errors and makes sure that everybody's working from this, the same information, which is huge.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I'm sold on the concept, but But there's always a but, right? Like, are there any limitations to these chat GPT spaces?
You're right to ask that. The webinar did mention a couple of things to keep in mind. One is file size limits. So
Yeah.
you can't upload, your entire company archive into a single space.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's got to be some kind of practical limit.
Right. And then there are these things called token limits.
Okay.
It sounds kind of complicated, but it's actually pretty straightforward. So imagine tokens are they're like building blocks for language.
Okay, yeah, I'm visualizing that.
So the more complex the information you're feeding into the space, the more blocks or tokens it uses up. And there's a limit to how many tokens you get with a standard ChatGPT account.
So it's not unlimited in its capacity. What happens if you hit that limit? Does it just shut down?
Well, the webinar host actually he admitted to running into this himself, actually, especially when he was working with very large or very detailed documents. And he said it can be a little frustrating, but he's found ways to kind of work around it.
Okay. So a little strategic planning is needed.
Exactly. And this is where, your role as the user, or in your case, kind of guiding our listener, comes in, right? It's about being smart about, what information is absolutely essential for each ChatGPT space. You don't want to overload it, or it's not going to be as effective.
Right.
You might even need, multiple spaces for different projects or different departments, kind of we were imagining with the different teams at our bike company.
Right. So maybe one for sales, one for customer support, one for product development, each with its own kind of curated set of information.
Precisely. It's about working smarter, not harder, even when it comes to AI.
Yeah. That's a good motto for life in general, I think. But before we get too philosophical, the webinar did mention something about APIs and chatbots. What was that about?
Yeah, it did sound kind of intriguing, even if it went a little over my head. I know what a chatbot is, but APIs are still kind of a mystery to me.
Oh, sure. Don't worry, you're not alone. Think of an API like a messenger that lets different apps talk to each other.
Okay.
So instead of information being kind of stuck in its own little space, it can be shared and used in other tools you're already using.
Okay, so if I'm picturing this right, maybe my ChatGPT space for this fictional electric bike company could send information directly to my project management tool, or even automate certain tasks.
Why use artificial intelligence in the office? What are the benefits of ChatGPT? Pacta offers AI training for business leaders. Visit the website pacta.com. Here is a podcast that explains these benefits.
Exactly. Yeah, the webinar host he kind of briefly touched on the possibilities there, but it sounds like you can get really creative with APIs. He even mentioned building custom chatbots that can access the information in your spaces.
Okay. Now that's next level stuff. Definitely something to explore further down the line. Okay. But even sticking with the basics here, it sounds like ChatGPT spaces could be, I don't know, kind of a game changer for anyone who just feels overwhelmed by information.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's about reclaiming that control, and making your information work for you instead of the other way around.
I like that. So instead of just reacting to this constant influx, you're strategically using AI to filter, organize, and even anticipate your information needs. That's incredibly powerful.
It is. And it kind of brings us back to that key idea that the webinar host, emphasized, which is this isn't about replacing your thinking with AI. It's about making your thinking more efficient.
Yes. Freeing up mental space for the important things strategy, creativity, solving those really interesting problems that AI can't quite handle yet.
Precisely.
What stood out to you as the most useful application of ChatGPT spaces? What got you excited about this?
Honestly, I think it's the potential for collaboration here.
Yeah.
Imagine giving a whole team or even a whole company access to these AI-powered information hubs, right? It could completely transform how we work together.
Totally. No more wasting time searching for the right version of a document or wondering who has the latest information. It's all right there. Instantly accessible, constantly updated.
Exactly. And because you control that information flow, you can make sure that everybody is, on the same page, literally.
Literally, yes.
It's about streamlining that communication, reducing those errors, and ultimately making, better decisions faster.
Love it. So for anyone listening who's ready to break free from information overload and and unleash that power of AI, ChatGPT Spaces might just be the tool you've been waiting for.
It's definitely a step towards a smarter, more efficient way of working and thinking even.
It is. And hey, if you are ready to dive into that world of APIs and custom chatbots, let us know, because that could be a whole other deep dive waiting to happen.
Until then, keep exploring, keep experimenting, and keep asking those right questions.
Yes.
The future of information it's here, and it's really up to us to shape it.
Why use artificial intelligence in the office? What are the benefits of ChatGPT? Pacta offers AI training for business leaders. Visit the website pacta.com. Here is a podcast that explains these benefits.